Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we'll be taking a look at the Super Mini-Pla for Kakure Shogun and Tsubasa Maru from Ninja Sentai Kakuranger. This was a premium Bandai set. Both of them come in this same box, so you can see this packaging here on the front has a nice awesome picture of Kakure Daishogun with the 5 mecha featured here. Then if you turn this around, you have this really cool picture of Tsubasa Maru, and I love the logo they have for him here. And then if you turn it this way, you can see it is just a picture of Tsubasa Maru, and it shows Muteki Shogun over here and how they can combine. Plus we have a cool picture of the Kakurangers here. Not too much going on this end. Over here, we have another picture of Daishogun. And then over here, they have a picture of how they can combine together. And this is supposed to look like a case. I've heard that apparently back in the day in Japan, they sold these together and they had a carrying case since the set was combined together, which is actually pretty cool. So I love this packaging. This model looks fantastic. I can't wait to build it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll take a look when I'm done. So here are the 6 animals fully constructed, all stickers applied. I think they look absolutely fantastic. Let's take a close-up look at each one. Alright, so first thing I'm going to say is please bear with me. I'm sure I'm going to butcher these Japanese names. But this is God Soldar? Soldar? I apologize. Basically, over here in America, this was the Red Ape Zord. He is more like a little warrior. I think he looks fantastic. I'm going to try to get in close to take a look at the head sculpt, but it's going to be kind of difficult because he's very tiny. But it's a really nice sculpt. Now, he does have stickers over his eyes, but I believe the eyes were painted underneath, so you probably don't need the stickers. And that gold is painted and the silver painted on his face. So these up here were stickers, and you kind of have to use the sticker if you want the black band that goes across the top of his head. It's kind of a weird sticker. The gold here on his shoulder pads is a sticker. Gold on his waist. Everything on the front of his feet here are stickers. And this on the front is a sticker. But he's a really cool little guy. I love him quite a bit. Head doesn't move. Oh, it does move. I apologize. Head does spin from side to side. Ball joint here in the shoulder. You have a bicep swivel. You have pretty much 180 in the elbow joint, which is a little weird. You have a spin here in the waist. Also, you have a joint in the waist, which is for when he becomes an arm, but we'll get to that a little bit later. You have a ball joint here in the hip, and then you have 90 degree in the knee. And then this is one solid piece. And this is a inlaid piece, and this is all silver paint. So there's a decent amount of paint on these guys. Gold paint here on the weapons. These peg on the back, as you see. And of course, you can unpeg them and put them into his fists. Oh, I'm sorry, he does have wrist articulation as well. So this guy's got quite a bit of articulation, and I think he looks fantastic. I love the fact that you can put the swords on the back. You can do a sword in each hand, or if you prefer, you can do both the swords in one hand, so it's like a spear-type weapon. So I think this guy looks absolutely fantastic. Up next, we have the other arm, which is God Logan. This was the Wolf Zord here in America. This guy is the only piece to not have any stickers. Everything is painted. His entire face, his eyes, the silver piece here. This is an inlaid gold plastic piece. So this guy looks really, really cool. His tail swivels. He has obviously a rotation here in the kind of upper leg. He has a rotation here in the knee. Same thing with these arms. They can rotate as well as this. And then, of course, his mouth can open and close. Now, the head can pull out if you wanted to look from side to side. And it can look a little bit up and down as well. And then you can push it back in if you like. Also, this piece can pull out, but that's again for the elbow articulation, so we'll get to that more in robot mode, the combined Megazord mode. So not as much articulation as the red ape Zord, but still very, very cool. Love his design. Alright, next up here we have God Kumado. Kuma means bear, which is what this guy is. You can see he's got storage for the fists for the combined robot mode. The wolf fist combines on the back, and then the red ape combines on the underbelly. This is a really nice gold sticker, 2 of them, 1 for each side. You have this gold sticker that goes all the way around the bear head, and then this is a sticker here on top, the red and black. Now he's got these 2 bear legs which you push in for the robot mode, and they're meant to come out. This one sometimes is a little loose, but it seems like it's gotten a little better. So the arms, oops, he fell out, put him back under there. So these can move back and forth, rather limited because of the space they're in. And the legs don't really move, the whole piece rotates forward for the transformation. So I would say this guy pretty much has the most limited articulation. The mouth can open and close. And then the front arms can move a little bit forward and back. But he's probably got the least articulation of all of them. Well, the little crane as well is pretty limited, but he still looks really good, and I like this one a lot. Speaking of the crane, this is God Kakure, which I'm assuming they mean like a rooster. Just a guess. Over here it was the Cranezord. So I'm not quite sure, but it is a tiny little bird. This guy has very limited articulation. Obviously the wings can move, but that's really mostly for the transformation. The head of the robot is hidden inside. So this is very much like the original toy. You know, about as much articulation as they could put in. The bird head can move up and down. That's really about the most of it. Still looks great though. Couple stickers here on the sides, up top. The whole sticker here for pretty much the whole head of the bird. But these stickers on the side, this is gold paint here though, on both sides. And all of the robot's face is painted, which we'll look at a little bit later. So all in all, it's a super tiny little bird, but I think it looks pretty good. Next up we have God Gunma, the little frog. I believe Gunma means frog in Japanese, and this guy is super highly articulated, and he looks absolutely fantastic. His mouth can open and close. Now, unfortunately, while I was assembling him, I accidentally broke a peg in the assembly of his mouth, so it does droop a little bit on the side. It's not too noticeable. You can see that this side, there's a little bit of a gap there because it hangs out. But these two, there were 3 pegs, 1, 2, and 3, and this is the one I broke. So you can see it hangs a little low on that side, but mouth still opens and closes. I kind of wish he came with a like tongue attachment or something you could place in there if you wanted to. You can kind of see that there's, well, that's really the joint for the mouth to open and close, but it would have been neat if there was something, just a piece you could plug in, but it's not a huge deal. Otherwise, he has a ball joint in the front leg, and then he has a swivel here for the front of his frog leg, and then he's got a large range of articulation in the legs. As you know, this become the main legs of the larger robot. So he's got a ball joint here, he's got a swivel in this joint here, swivel here, he's got a thigh swivel here, he's got a in and out joint here. Oh, I forgot these are supposed to go in. And I'll show off how that works later. So we'll get a better range of motion out of the legs when we get to the combined robot mode, but he looks very good. There we go. All this silver up here is paint. This silver is paint. This is a sticker here on the side. All of these, the gold on the red, is all painted. I believe it's red painted on a gold piece. Red eyes there are painted. These are inlaid pieces. So really, the only stickers he has is here, here, and then again on the insides there you can see. Just so the silver stripe around the leg are the only 4 stickers. He looks outstanding. last but certainly not least, we have Tsubasa Maru. This guy looks fantastic. Obviously, you guys know this was the Falconzord here in America. Really nice head sculpt. The eyes there are stickers, which I admit look a little weird. The black on top of the head is a sticker as well, but that looks pretty excellent. The beak can open and close. You have a movement of the head pretty much all the way down to the chest and then all the way straight back. You have a joint here in the wing. You have a joint here in the wing. These nice clear pieces on the end for the firing mechanisms. They don't actually fire, but, you know, in the show they did. This is a sticker. These are stickers here. This is all gold. This was painted gold. Most of the pieces are just, you know, molded in different colors. So there's not a ton of stickers on this guy. But he looks absolutely fantastic. There's a ball joint in the hip of each foot. Then you have a ball joint in the falcon foot. Now, where the gold here meets the white, it also should be able to swivel. But you almost don't need to worry about it just because you have the full ball joint down here and the full ball joint up here. So, I mean, you could just move, anytime you would need to move the foot, you could just, you know, move it on the ball joint. So it's possible, but it's hard to actually get it to turn because it's hard to grab a hold of it. And the tail back here can actually move as well. So I think this guy looks absolutely fantastic. I really love the job they did. I think he looks really, really good. Alright, so it's time to combine these guys together. Let's go ahead and start off with Kakure Daishogun, or the Ninja Megazord as he was known here in America. I'm going to start with the frog since he forms pretty much the entire lower half of the larger robot. You're going to go ahead and just extend the legs. Bring these pieces down like this. And you can see here on the hip joint that there's a black piece inside the leg. You're actually going to just pull that up. And that's going to kind of put the hip joint more towards the top of the leg. Now you can see here that there's a little peg, a peg hole here with a peg. So you're going to bend this down, straighten this all out, bend this down, peg that in there, and then you can bring the frog legs down and tuck them in just like the original toy, if you like the more traditional look. Now that will probably get in the way of some of the hip articulation if you leave it down like that. So another option that they give you, if you go ahead and unpeg this and open this back up, you can actually tuck the frog legs back here and kind of put them in this area and push them in so that it's pretty flush. And then if you bring this back down and peg that in, you'll see that those legs are kind of hidden back there. Now if you pull these down, and I like to turn this at a bit of a 45-degree angle, you can kind of get your fingernail in here and pop out this front square panel. Flip it around 180 degrees, and then you plug it back in, and you can see that it has the front frog legs now completely molded into the front of the thigh. So now it'll look like he has the frog legs there, but they won't be in the way of the articulation, which I think is a really neat idea. So it gives you the option. If you like the more traditional way of having those front frog legs hanging down, you certainly can do that. But if you like this way, where they're kind of represented but not in the way, now you'll get the full range of motion out of the hips and thighs, knees, and everything like that. So you have this come out to the side like this. Now you can see it does hinder a little bit if you have the frog legs there, but it's really not that big a deal. Front, back, you do have a thigh swivel all the way back for the knees. And then of course you have a ball joint here in the ankle. And you have a really long, I mean this guy can do some pretty impressive splits and still have his legs completely flat. They really did a nice job with the ankle tilt. Really, really well done. So you can see that is pretty much the entire lower half of the robot mode. Really nice pieces here on the shins. Really nicely painted. Looks fantastic. Next up, I'm going to take the bear. I'm going to unpeg this fist cover. You can see all it was a simple peg and peg hole situation. And then I'm going to remove this fist, and all this did was kind of slide onto this plastic piece here, just kind of wedged in there to keep that in with friction. Put that off to the side. You're going to push in the front bare hands or paws, legs, whatever you want to call them, and then you will fold them down into the chest. Very similar to how the normal toy transformed. You will push this whole section in, remove this, I don't even know what you call this, but this little bar piece that was hanging under the jaw, and basically attach it in the exact same place, but now situated so it's inside the jaw, and then close the jaw. And then these sections will rotate forward and naturally stop. And then you have these shoulder pieces, which you can leave them like this. If you want to pull them out and turn them, you can. It's going to have the arms farther away from the body, but it gives you kind of more articulation. It gives you a ball joint here. It gives you some up and down movement. There's a swivel as well. So there's tons of articulation in the arm, and you'll see what I mean when we actually attach the arms. Also, this piece here can pop up. It's a neck. Let me see if I can get it to pop up here. So you can see that comes up and acts as a neck once the head's attached, but the head also has its own kind of neck joint, so they're very doubling up on joints to give you just a ton of posability here. But you can see that there is a peg on the bottom here that is going to peg into the top of the frog, as you might expect. And there is the torso and waist and legs. So I'm going to move the camera up just a smidge. Next up, I'm going to take the wolf, and I'm going to fold the bottom part of the back legs up into the back legs. And you can see they pretty much hide completely. Then you can go ahead and rotate these down, and you kind of want to stop so that it makes kind of a boxy shoulder, as you can see right there. Then push these legs and bend these forward and kind of push that all the way in, kind of like how the Voltron lions bring their legs in. You're going to take this piece and just, it'll clip gently over the front. Then you're going to want to go ahead and pull that until you hear a click, and then rotate the tail down. And then you can see this peg hole here is going to peg onto this peg here. So now you can see that this has a joint here actually inside the back end of the wolf. So you have that joint. You could bring this out if you wanted to and use this as a ball joint. I mean, I think this looks a little goofy with the arms so far away, but they give you the option. I kind of just like to use the joint in the wolf just to kind of give it like that. And then, of course, you have this movement here for an elbow. Unfortunately, there's no swivel here, so you'd have to kind of move the whole arm. But you do have pretty much 90 degrees there in the elbow. The tail gets a little bit in the way, but you can always just kind of lift it up a little bit so you have plenty of clearance. It's up to you. Going to take our ape warrior. Now, the only problem I have with this is you have to take the fists out. And there's unfortunately nowhere to store the fists or the swords. So what I like to do, and I was really hoping, I tried to open the frog mouth, and I was hoping that the fists could fit in here and close up, like one could. But wouldn't that have been amazing? Like if it had a little spot where you could just clip these in, and then it would completely have, that would be the perfect place to store the fists. I mean, you still wouldn't be able to store the swords anywhere, but I just think that would have been really fun. So what I like to do is just kind of put a sword in each fist, just so I don't lose the fists, because it's much easier to keep track of the swords. And then I just kind of have to put these off to the side, unfortunately. It's my only complaint about the set. Here we're going to pull this open. And it's a little difficult to do, but you just kind of have to get a nail in there, and it will pop off from time to time. It's very simple. You can see there's just these two tiny flat pegs, and they just peg into these two holes right here. It's very simple to attach it. You're going to take the arms, and I'll zoom in a bit here. You're going to want to bring these around, spin here. Actually, no, I'm doing it the wrong way. Spin it like this, so that these, and you're going to have to actually push this joint. You can see this red piece here is actually going to slide down. See how it slides all the way down compared to the other one? That's so that it can then clear this, and then you want to rotate this around so that this fits in as close as you can get. And you can kind of see how there's like a little grid inside there. You see how that has like a little red box with the line down the middle? You want to fit it kind of inside the box. So you need to push this piece down. Whoops. Push this piece down. And then bring this around. Fold that in. Rotate this around. And just kind of get it in there as tight as you can. Now once that's in there, you can fold this whole thing up, and it will close. Then you can take this piece and pop it on top over the head. You're going to slide. You can see how there's a big hole here in the side of the thigh of this little guy. Slide that down and it'll click. Slide it down and it'll click, and then you just peg these together. And you can see that there's a peg hole on the back, and that's going to peg into the other arm spot. Now remember I showed you before in the waist they had that joint for the elbow. And also he has the same kind of joint as the blue wolf inside the leg, so that you can have the arms go out to the side a little bit. Then you take the little bird. You're going to fold this section up while you flip the bird head forward. Transforms exactly the same as the normal toy does, except that this black piece here is going to flip around. And let me zoom in here so you can see. This will flip around and go in here, and that actually stops the head from closing up. So that also, I mean, it obviously serves as the connector to the rest of the robot, but it also keeps the head from folding in. And that is just a fantastically detailed head. It's all paint. This is all paint. The whole face is paint. Like I said, there's stickers on the sides, but it's a really fantastic looking robot face. And then you just go ahead, and you can see that there's a peg hole right there, so you peg that in. So like I was saying, that black joint kind of serves as its own neck connector, but you can also use the neck connector in the bear's back. So let me zoom out, and there you have Kakure Daishogun. He looks fantastic. I think they did such an amazing job with this. I mean, like I said, you have this hip articulation here, out to the side, front, back. You have a thigh swivel, over 90 degrees in the knee. You have that ball joint in the ankle. You have a swivel here in the waist. You have all the joints I showed you in the shoulder. You have the back and forth here in the elbow. You have the head can go from side to side and front to, or up and down. I mean, he just looks amazing. I couldn't be more impressed with this. I really could not. He looks absolutely fantastic. But there is another combination that we can still do. So the transformation for Tsubasa Maru isn't really so much of a transformation as you just straighten out his wings. Make sure you tilt the head all the way back. Take the back part of his talons and kind of fold them in as far as they'll go. And then just kind of point his legs straight down as far as you can. And that's pretty much it. You can see he's got a very large peg hole in the middle of his chest. You bring in Daishogun, and he has a large peg on the back, and you just plop him right on. Very simple, not really much to it. But I will say, he looks great. It really works. The wings on the back look fantastic. I like to try to get him in like a pose like he's, you know, in flight or hovering or something like that. I mean, this guy just looks awesome. I'm really super, super happy with this. I really need to build Muteki Shogun now because Tsubasa Maru has compatibility with him as well. And it's just, Super Mini-Pla continues to just knock this out of the park. This combination, while simple, and like I said, Tsubasa Maru very barely transforms, but it looks great, and I love the wings on the back. I absolutely love this set. I can't recommend it enough. Super Mini-Pla continues to knock it out of the park. It's fun building them. They snap together very nicely. The stickers look good. They're not too difficult to apply. And I wouldn't even say there's that many stickers, honestly. They have a lot of paint on these things. They look fantastic. I just can't gush about them enough. So if you like model kits at all, and you want a super fun little posable version, and I wouldn't even say little. I mean, as far as like a size comparison goes, here's a, you know, normal $10 Bandai America figure. So I would say they're probably somewhere in the area of 6 to 7 inches tall. Do I have... I was trying to see if I had like a Black Series figure or something like that, but I don't have one handy. But I would say they're probably about 6 to 7 inches tall. I think they look great. Perfect articulation. Paint apps look great. Stickers not too unbearable. I mean, like I said, there's nothing. The only thing I can possibly criticize this set is there's nowhere to store the swords in this mode. That's the only thing I possibly have to criticize, and it's not even really that big a deal. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.